very good morning and a warm welcome to 162's Don Ullo. He's here this morning to
Give me the beat.
Which beat?
I want to do that rap. I'm missing the rap. Helen, I'm missing the rap.
Which rap? Okay, put your headphones and let me activate it for you. Let's go. We spend the billions, we spend the money, come on. Spend the world, we spend the billions, we spend for Jesus, we shift the culture, we heal the sick, we raise the dead. Well, we don't know how to bring people back. We know how to bring the economy back.
But you are not saying it on your own strength.
When he said send the billions, I was with him.
You are stepping on the power of the resurrection. Say hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yes. Hallelujah. But I'm just saying, we know how
I
to
have
bring
given you power to do exceedingly
back.
more than me. That was the charge Jesus gave his apostles. Are you not an apostle?
Certainly. I am a representative right here in Adesawe, Kanda. One of the soldiers says, no turning back. No turning back. Anyways, it's a bright Monday morning. We're very excited to come your way. As always, we've taken that weather update from Felicity. Up next, we're going to be getting into the news review. And the weekend has been very interesting, very eventful, as we've been able to ruminate over some of the happenings of last week. It's a fresh week, so I know that there will be even more content. Just you wait, okay? This week will bring with it its own fresh set of wahala, but with that is also a fresh set of blessings this week. And with that, we get into the Custodian newspaper. The tagline is fearless, fair, and reliable. You can't blame me for ECG's woes. Who do you think is saying that? You cannot blame me for ECG's woes. Well,
Minority Leader.
You are absolutely right.
Former
board chair of the ECG, also known as Osahin Afenyo-Markin, and he's clapping back at Dr. Reko Brobe. And we'll give you an opportunity this morning to also listen to what he had to say when he sat with our colleague Beatrice Edu. And I think in that clip he says that, the minority leader Osahin Afenyo-Markin has to account for his stewardship at ECG as the board chair. You know that we started this year off with a lot of hula baloo, as it were, missing containers. Now we're told that containers have been found. That particular issue has been left in murky waters, very much like what we see with many other things. But that's neither here nor there. Ghana-India ties deepen. Minority Lords PM Modi's historic visit. And for me, the highlight was seeing some of our members in parliament adorn Indian attire, full regalia from head all the way down to toe. I think that was well received by the masses, and that was certainly a historic speech that was given by PM Modi at our parliament. Baba Sam petitions acting CJ over judicial bias. There's a lot still going on that front. Baba Sam, yes, it's captured on page 2 of the Custodian, is petitioning the acting CJ over judicial bias. If you want more details, you catch that on page 2. Zoom Lion clinches strategic business deal in Kenya and I believe in other parts of Africa. Well, right here on home soil, we're asking Zoom Lion to open up their books, close their books. I don't know. Are we coming or going? We'll find out. The Daily Democrat says nothing but the truth. What's on the front page then this morning? Ghana reaches major milestone with Iban Akuma oil, with some gas discoveries there. Bogoso Prestia mine faces closure over violations. You've also got no excavators missing in police custody. MDF, that's the Minerals Development Fund. You've got Dr. Hannah Bisu Kote pictured here on the front page. And she has become, shall I say, the poster woman these days as far as the fight against Galamsey is concerned. She's taken the fight into the forest, straight to where the action is. Many of you have questioned the motives, you've questioned the efficacy, and you've questioned whether or not really and truly this is but a blip in the grand scheme of things. But she is resolute in her mission, and it's something that we're still following on. Notorious Ashongman land guards caged. And that's captured in the Daily Democrat. Julius Deborah a task committee on corruption to develop actionable and achievable blueprint. The Daily Gist this morning, and I think they have a lot of gist for us this morning. Ghost returns from Mecca. Sixtus, I'm not sure if you saw that story. There was a lady who was added to the death tally for Mecca, only to have arrived. She had been miscounted. Her family had been misinformed. And so she returned. Yes. Let me get into that. It's captured on page 2. I saw that online sometime last week. They said,
So if you were a family member, would you celebrate? Would you be excited?
Will you open the gate?
Run away?
Now, a woman who was officially declared dead during the 2025 Hajj pilgrimage in Saudi Arabia has returned home, guess what? Fully alive. Days after her funeral.
Fully alive.
Fully alive. No doubt about it. And you know what? They actually had, as per Muslim tradition, they had her funeral. So she returned days after her funeral, leaving her entire community stunned. You know, there's a funeral for you, burial service, then you return. Now, Fatima Kasim, a resident...
She was not aware she had been buried at home.
She was not aware she was dead. She was aware she had gone for pilgrimage and had arrived home. Everybody else had the intel that she was part of those who had lost their lives. So I guess when we say burial, ceremonial, if you will, because there was no body, because that body was on a plane, headed here, fully alive. She's a resident of Medina in Accra, Fatima Kasim, and she was at the center of this bizarre incident after the Ghana consulate in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, mistakenly issued a death certificate in her name, prompting her family to observe Islamic funeral rites for her. Now, according to the family members and the officials from the Ghana Hajj Task Force, the confusion began during this year's annual pilgrimage to Mecca, where reports emerged that Fatima Kasim had died while receiving medical attention in a Saudi hospital. The consulate in Jeddah, relying on hospital information, then issued a death certificate.
Information.
That's right.
Without going to the hospital to confirm?
You know, there had been reports of others. How she got her name entangled with this. I mean, she had a big funeral. People went to pay their respects to the family. No, she was also getting ready, packing her bags, getting ready to come home. Somebody's doing funeral, somebody's packing to come home. Fili Gadochi, Fili. Now, however, on Wednesday, July 3rd, shockwaves were sent through the Medina community when Fatima Kasim herself walked through the gates of her home. The story says very much alive, fully alive.
What was the
Neighbors
reaction?
and eyewitnesses recounted scenes of chaos, with some people fleeing, running, helter-skelter, convinced that they had seen a ghost. The brave ones, though, they stayed, but stayed in disbelief. You know, they are touching it. You know
Is
that
this
Mark
you?
Jordan Amate film, Am I Dead? He was touching himself, but he was a ghost. This one, Fatima Kasim, she came in the flesh. Now, speaking to City News during a visit to the family residence, Fatima's relatives say they are still grappling with this emotional roller coaster. One of her family members says, I feel happy and sad. We are still confused. So there's clarification now coming from the Hajj Task Force, and they say it was simply a case of mistaken identity. Okay. There were two women who were hospitalized. One was a tourist and the other was Fatima, who's officially registered with the Ghanaian Hajj delegation. Now, at the time of hospitalization, neither woman had her passport on her, making identification difficult. So I see they swapped the intel. This other lady...
Were they both Ghanaians?
The other lady, they have her name here, but I don't know... I don't know if that's okay. They don't provide the name. How that swap happened? They said this incident has raised serious
questions. And the
questions.
Ghana mission also issued a statement and a death certificate without confirming.
So they say this incident has raised serious questions about diplomatic procedures as well as the airtightness of verification processes during the Hajj pilgrimage. Such a dangerous oversight to make.
I want to believe that, you know, on a pilgrimage like this, you cannot have people at the secretariat knowing everybody. So the people in charge of Hajj, they won't know every single individual. For that reason, I suspect they would have leadership at each unit. So if you are Greater Accra, you have a sort of leadership of your delegation, further broken down into, should I say, Medina area.
I want to believe that exists. So
yes,
I want to believe that exists.
How would you classify somebody dead without calling the people, the Medina delegation people, to come see the body, confirm that this indeed is the person? I'm wondering. Mm-hmm. And how would you rely only on the information from the hospital authorities to issue a death certificate? I'm wondering. Yes, I mean, there's a lapse. There's a lapse that the Hajj people have to sit back. The Honorable ABA Fuseni and his people, they have to take a second look at this, because it's dangerous. I mean, where I come from, if we celebrate your death traditionally and you show up, there's a big matter.
You asked me to return from whence I came, or how?
There's a okay, to my people listening, if I don't get it right, please send me a message and correct me. Mm-hmm. You see, there's a talking drum. There's a talking drum. And this drum, once it announces the death to the community and the nearby communities. So customarily,
just the earthly community or the spiritual community alike.
Don't ask questions you don't want answers to.
Yes, please.
I just listen to what I'm saying. Okay. See the fear on your face.
Points well noted. Very well noted.
So once your death is announced or is determined, if you died at home, the people who are supposed to confirm your death will do so, and then the drum will then announce it. Once that announcement is made, if you show up that you are not dead again, we have to ask the spirit some questions. In fact, there are instances that you can't come again. Once we put you out on stage, say that you are dead, we are mourning you. And there were instances like that. People would travel and will get word that, the community will get word that, oh, this person is dead. Then they will go through the funeral rites and do everything and bury the person, just like you have seen in that story.
Right.
Then the person shows up later, because at that time there were no telephones. There were no, communication was difficult.
Right.
So for us to confirm, somebody then would have to travel from the community to whichever village you went to die, which also poses its own challenges. So once the rites are performed, then you are wherever you are not coming home again. You can only take steps to alert your people that there was a mistake, you are not dead. But coming home would be a big matter.
I see.
And our customs are still there, especially with the Islamic rites. You know, in the Muslim communities, once you die, there is no delaying. There is no wasting time.
That's right.
So that is why we have to, particularly within the Muslim communities, be double sure that this person is indeed dead. You could go to bed, the following morning you get up, you are not waking up, you are not getting out of your bed, and yes, so at that moment an alarm would be raised. There would probably be a medical checkup to be sure, as we say, sure, that yes, indeed you have passed on before the rites, because within a certain time frame the funeral has to be done. Your body has to go down. You get it?
Yeah.
So I think that it's a big lesson.
It's not something to be toyed with.
No, it's not
as
a joke.
Humorous as we can imagine the story being, some of these lapses could cause a great deal of havoc.
Exactly. That is why I've given you the customary perspective. In some community, she never would be able to return to the community based on the customs of the people, because we have buried you. What are you coming to do? Go back to wherever you are coming from. And the other danger is that you could actually even be killed.
For just for the fear that...
Yes, that you are not real, you are not human. Yes, we can argue that the times have changed. There's technology now to try to overcome all of those, cultural practices and fears and apprehensions and all of that. We can make that argument.
That's right.
But we cannot assume that Accra is Ghana. So imagine Hajia had not come to Medina. Imagine she had gone to some community that they have no way of verifying the story that no, I'm not dead, or it wasn't me. No. Out of fear, she could be killed.
That's right.
That this is a ghost. She's returned to cause havoc. So these are not things that we can afford to make mistakes with at all.
Very important. Like you say, who actually saw the body to verify that this was indeed Fatima Kasim? But that's what I've got here for the daily gist. That's the gist that we have this morning. Sixtus, what do you have for us?
I have the New Publisher newspaper, and it comes with a beautiful photo of the minority leader in Parliament. Only that this time he's not speaking as minority leader. He's speaking as former board chair of ECG. And the headline says, Tarzan attacking me with untruths. And the quote says that I was not the chairman of the ECG board in 2023, as Dr. Reku Brobe suggested. I was appointed by His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. I've always fallen in love with this name. His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo on 16th July 2024, and officially sworn in as board chairman of ECG on 17th July 2024. So he's explaining. And indeed, if you go to his Facebook wall, that statement is there. The statement that I believe all the papers are referencing. Once we'll be listening to Tarzan, I'm sure that we'll get the opportunity to read the statement as well. So it says, more headlines on the New Publisher newspaper. It says, Parliament to sit on Mondays and Saturdays. Really? Mondays, yes. Saturdays, why?
They have a lot of work to do? Or is that to the sacrifice of a particular day in the week?
That is what I am wondering. Majority leader in Parliament and leader of government business, Mahama has disclosed that the House will add Mondays and Saturdays to 8 sitting days so as to allow for the maturity of certain legislative instruments before Parliament. Okay, before the House adjourns on Saturday, July 12th. Okay. That is not new, actually. It happens sometimes. Already the House doesn't sit on Mondays. Yeah, Mondays are not... I understand the reasoning is that a lot of them go to their constituencies, so they are supposed to spend the weekends in their constituencies. So most of them are not able to return by Mondays. That is why the House doesn't sit on Mondays.
Okay.
Yeah, so by Monday, you should be back in Accra, then you go to the House on Tuesdays. So traditionally, the House doesn't sit on Mondays. Yes, but it's also understandable that this is temporarily to allow the maturation of allies because they are rising on July 12th. That's next week.
That's right.
So that's just... So they'll sit today, sit
July 12th, that's Saturday, that's right.
So okay, so that's understandable.
Right.
Asabi wants NPP reformed before flag bearer primaries. Robbers attack Trotro, shoot 4 passengers. This Trotro man must be carrying a lot of money for robbers to attack him. The News Center newspaper, detail-driven, Obasanjo to ECOWAS reform or become relevant. Helen, this story, this headline, I don't think it is new, but I think it is timely. It's a conversation that, in fact, has been had in the media space for some time now. If ECOWAS doesn't look sharp, ECOWAS will become irrelevant. And this started with the coups that we witnessed. It started with the coups that we witnessed.
Yeah.
people kept asking, how is ECOWAS taking steps to remedy this instability in this country? How is ECOWAS taking steps to ensure that this leader who is forcing himself on the people does not continue in that tangent? People are asking the AU,
that's right,
the UN, sometimes even the other countries, US, China, they are contributing troops to peacekeeping efforts, but we are not seeing ECOWAS do any of those things. There's been questions about a standing ECOWAS army. There's been question about a common currency for ECOWAS and all of those things. So this was the Republic Day lecture that the former Nigerian leader spoke at. And this is one of the issues. I think he's restarting that conversation, a conversation that we definitely have to get into.
That's right.
Is ECOWAS still relevant? Especially now that you have the Sahel area, the cool countries within the Sahel area, wasn't it?
Burkina
and the other countries. They have
Mali.
a name. They formed their own.
These are the guys who want to be part of BRICS.
No. They broke away from the ECOWAS
and then
announced their own, yes, because all of them are cool leaders.
Right.
Yes, and they thought that ECOWAS was not receptive enough, or ECOWAS was simply not giving them that was not listening to them. So they think they have a common interest that they also have to come together to protect. So I think that should be the wake-up call for ECOWAS, that if you have that breakaway and you do nothing about it, by the time you realize, you become irrelevant. Okay, so whilst you check that out, let me continue. Mahama government to complete National Cathedral. Okay, that story is on page 6 of the News Center newspaper. It's a lengthy one. Government of Ghana has announced a major policy shift to repurpose the unfinished National Cathedral project into a National Cultural Convention Center, a landmark facility that will anchor Ghana's growing creative economy and serve as a continental hub for cultural diplomacy.
I've taken note of this new idea being put forth by this government. I haven't really thought about it too deeply about what the pros and all the cons are. For me, I find the project in its entirety, the way that we went about it, or the former president went about the whole thing, it's such a sore spot. During the election campaign time, I believe the NDC had hinted at possibly turning the space into a children's hospital. They said that they had gotten calls from, concerned citizens who thought it would be better used as a hospital. Well, if they can break down to us this idea of, what is it, National
Cultural Convention Center. But you see, this shouldn't be surprising, right? Because they had given indication that the space would be rezoned, or repurposed, as he said. And number one, we cannot leave the place lying like that. We definitely have to put it to some use. The conversation has been whether we should go ahead with the construction of a cathedral.
Nil point.
Huh?
The French would say nil point.
Okay. Okay.
The people don't
because
like
the people who make that argument say that, like he said, the circumstances under which the entire project was sold to the people is what made people angry.
Yes.
Number one. Number two, the cost of the project.
That's right.
Is the other point of anger for people. Number three, the source of financing or funding for the project is also the other anger point. That if it was an individual project,
right,
somebody's fulfillment of his personal pledge to his God, why should the rest of the country be saddled with it? That's the argument. Number two, if indeed it is such a project, why should it be the taxpayer dealing with it? And you recall that at the time, the government set off to, in fact, it announced at the time that it was going to be private sector driven that in terms of financing, which is the reason why we saw so many clergymen on the board and leading the charge. Now, why did public money get into the project was the other question. So if we are able to go through all of this, remove all of, or address all of those concerns, can we still not go ahead to construct the church? Is that possible?
We don't want the church.
We don't want the church.
Yes.
So
because we were told it will drive tourists to come, but as a tourist, why am I going to bypass Sagrada Familia, 150-year cathedral in Spain, Barcelona? Why am I going to bypass some of the humongous cathedrals in La Paris, the Notre Dame? What is going to bring me to this bustling area, very busy, hectic area, to come and look at a Bible museum? I haven't spent my money on all the other iconic ones that were built over time. This one that fast build, new build, Tierraba, come and see the... No. I don't think those arguments that were advanced were sound enough, as well as, and for me, the reason why I'm even objecting to this new idea is just the location. Why can't we put it somewhere else, somewhere serene?
The location has always been a problem.
That's right.
But really, we can't leave the land lying there like that. But we should put the structures back on, the bungalows back on.
Can we do that? Recall.
We have the museum. Is it science or technology? The one around City Campus. Which museum is it?
One sciencey, techie.
We have a museum there.
Right.
If we have a cultural center here, yes, it will affect traffic. It would create a lot more inconvenience. But we definitely have to put that parcel of land to use. How else do we do
$58 million US. What have we gotten for that amount of money? What do we have to show for $58 million US?
That is the primary question. The secondary question is what we are now considering. Should we leave the land lying there like that? And for how long? So definitely some work has to happen there.
That's right.
And I think one of the things I was expecting, and this was said in the run-up to the election, that the NDC will arrange or organize a national conversation on this. I am waiting for that national conversation. Let us make it a national project.
That's right.
Let the people decide what they want to use that parcel of land for. And by a national conversation, it doesn't mean we should organize another conference and bring people to come and sit in the Accra International Conference Center and take a decision.
Who should lead these conversations? We can have this
conversation on our media space. There's a lot that we can do within the media space.
In fact, every media house hold one of these talk forums that we usually do, these thought, and then maybe amalgamate all the different opinions that each media house has compiled.
Then would have a committee that would then sieve it out, and put a report together.
But certainly, Sixtus, some accountability is necessary. I mean,
that's why I said it's a primary question.
Yes. At the time that the monies were taken out, we were told they came from the consolidated account, from our consolidated funds. We know what we use those monies for.
And we are told the monies were withdrawn without parliamentary approval. That's another leg.
And that's why the OSP is, keenly asking Ken Ofori-Atta to make his way back home, because there are burning questions that a lot of Ghanaians have. We want to put closure to certain things. I mean, there are so many unanswered questions, and the average Ghanaian is getting very, very patient. And I think that's why you keep hearing oral. I would have thought that the slogan or the idea of oral would have died down, but no, the people are asking for accountability. I think during the election coverage, Sixtus, if you recall, we had a conversation with data analyst Alfred. and he joined us via Zoom, and he does a lot of great work. And he said that a lot of us are, looking to out to recoup some monies for us. For consolation, we want the money to be recouped. But as he explained, it will take time. We talk about the wheels of justice grinding slow. And depending on how powerful you are, it can grind as slow as it needs to grind until the tides turn. But that's neither here nor there.
No, but we definitely have to decide what we are using that project for. We can't leave it like that. And this is under the 24-hour economy program, right? Let me just speak out this. It says that the venue will serve as Africa's premier cultural diplomacy and creative economy forum, hosting international exhibitions, film festivals, trade shows, and summits, filling a critical infrastructure gap without conflicting with national values or faith institutions. I think there's an important descriptive that we need to bear in mind as we analyze and discuss that particular project. But I will say there are two concerns. Primary concern, what happens to all the investment that has already gone down there into that structure, that building, that foundation.
Right.
Are there any monies to be recouped? How? When? Secondary concern, moving forward, what do we do? And this is the proposition that we are seeing from government. And there should be a way that we can agree as a people whether we want to continue on that tangent.
Well, Sixtus, you were asking about some of the West African countries that have broken away from ECOWAS. So you've got the 3 West African countries that have officially broken away from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. That's Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. So they've decided to name this new association Alliance of Sahel States, or Confederation of Sahel States. It is often abbreviated as AES. Okay, so the purpose of this breakaway is for security and political collaboration, particularly to address extremist violence and assert sovereignty against external pressure. Sovereignty against external pressure. All right.
Yes, so that is it. And this is how ECOWAS will be undermined. Imagine they get another state to join them.
Right.
Okay, and by all accounts, from what we are seeing, they seem more forceful than we see ECOWAS. So I think that ECOWAS has to have a conversation, and the ECOWAS Commission may have to lead that conversation on what next. How are we seeing ourselves, and what are we doing to make sure that the people see our relevance? I have 2 more papers. Let me just quickly run through them.
Yes, I was going to go on a break and then we come to those, or we can do that and then come on a break. Let's go on a quick break. All right, time check, 17 after 7. This is still the best breakfast show in all of the land. We'll go on a very quick break. When we come back, there's more right here.
Parents, mark your calendars. Is the 3FM Baby Fair happening live on the 11th to the 13th of July at Marina Mall Airport.
fair is well and truly upon us on Friday. All roads lead to the Marina Mall. I'm very, very, very excited. We're going to have some great conversations during the baby fair. It's on for 3 days, so it's from the 11th all the way through up until the 13th. There's excitement for both adults and kids. Lots and lots of vendors for you to shop from, and again, some good information. So we'll be talking about that in some more detail this morning right here on 3FM Sunrise. But this Friday anticipates the most awesome baby fair yet. Still here with Sixtus Don Ullo. We're nearly done running through the newspapers. In about 6 or 7 minutes or so, we'll open up the phone lines. We call it Community Voices, and you too can have your bite this morning. And speaking of bites, apologies for a lack of Johnny's bite this morning. Sixtus, over to you.
The Informer newspaper, Nothing but the Truth. Education must not be rationed, Mahama declares as he launches no fees stress policy. NLA intensifies support for good cause. Dismissal rooted in past misconduct. OSP clarifies sacking of former DSO. What is DSO? And Zoom Lion deepens partnership with Kenya. Where's the story? Page 3 of the Informer newspaper says that the deputy staff officer, the Office of the Special Prosecutor has clarified that the dismissal of its former deputy staff officer, that's the DSO, Mark Kweku Esedu Arthur, was based on revelations stemming from his previous sacking by the NIB, formerly known as BNI. Sources within the OSP have disclosed that Mr. Esedu Arthur's removal followed extensive internal vetting, which revealed that he had earlier been dismissed from the NIB for breaching institutional protocols. This background, according to OSP, rendered him ineligible for employment within the anti-corruption agency, as stipulated by its enabling legislation. Detailed accounts from sources familiar with the matter indicate that Mr. Esedu Arthur, while employed at the NIB, was assigned to transport examination papers to parts of the eastern and northern region. However, he reportedly abandoned the assignment mid-journey, citing his mother's ill health as the reason for his absence. So that is the story on the front page of the Informer newspaper. And don't create authority for 24-hour economy. Varsity Dawn cautions government, and the picture of Professor Godfrey Bokwin is here. And
I was listening to him actually mention that over the weekend, that we don't need yet another authority to then, have to staff and tool. There are relevant bodies who should be really in charge of this 24-hour economy. But at
present, it is under the office of the president.
Exactly his point. Why is it under the office of the president? Why, for example, are the relevant, shall I say, authorities that will deal with whatever the case may be? We're talking about the ports, we're talking about this, that, and the third, so everything decentralizing. But it appears that when new governments come in, or you have a fresh government coming in, or there's a government in place, they want some of these interventions to sit at the presidency, where there's a lot more control over the process.
No, not that. It's the government's flagship campaign.
Well, that doesn't mean that it should sit at the presidency solely. No.
Helen, hear me out, please. Please hear me out.
I'll hear you out and then I'll counter.
Okay, hear me out first. See, it's like free SHS. I did not expect the Ghana Education Service to be at the forefront of running free SHS.
Why not?
Because there needed to be that direct oversight by the president.
Why?
Because it was his major campaign promise, and it was in his interest politically to ensure. Yes, relax for me. Politically, to ensure that the promise was fulfilled. If he left it to the ministry, yes, I agree with you. He could have left it to the ministry, and the ministry would have created a desk at the ministry to say that free SHS desk at the ministry. Then they would have found some supervisor and be paying him 500 Ghana a month to oversee the implementation of free SHS.
Right.
You think that we would have had the impact with free SHS as we had in 2016,
Therein lies the
17?
problem. What then do we make of these institutions? Because the counter that Professor Bokpin gave is that we have initiatives, even looking at the 24-hour economy, a lot of the themes you'll find in Ghana Beyond Aid, the underpinnings are that we need a stronger economy and stronger systems to facilitate what we want to do. Once a particular government goes out, these initiatives, these policies can sometimes be seen to follow them. So we scrapped Ghana Beyond Aid, but when you, according to the experts, put it side by side, the 24-hour economy, the underpinnings are very similar. So that if it goes to, for example, this is just the free SHS example, the GES and other institutions who are tasked with that particular initiative, there's maybe more longevity. But that speaks to how strong these particular GES is. Is GES not strong enough to spearhead this?
In project management, you need particular oversight. You need specific, measurable targets. You need, GES is tasked with the generality of education in the country, in terms of quality, in terms of quantity, access, and all of that. But you have a specific project that you must oversee to ensure that it reaches or achieves its specific goals. And you cannot situate that project within or under the supervision of a general.
I still don't get your reasoning as to why. I don't see why.
That is what I am giving you. So if you have a 24-hour economy, what I would not also agree probably would be having, say, 24-hour economy authority.
That's the proposition at the moment, to have an authority.
You have it at under the office of the president. Okay. That gives it direct presidential, direct presidential supervision.
Right.
That the eye of the president is directly on it. I remember the president himself during the campaign said that he would, this is part of it, that he would have an accelerated export program, expanded program, which would be directly under his office. And this is part of it. So that once you have that directly under the office of the president, you then cannot have the head of the secretariat there misbehaving, because you know that you are reporting directly to the president. If you take it to the ministry, you are reporting to a minister or some chief director. The chief director is reporting to a minister. The minister is reporting to cabinet. This one, you have direct access to the president.
Sixtus,
so it's a matter of project implementation.
I think for the sake of longevity, we've seen other initiatives maybe be stuck at the presidency. And once...
Like what?
Ghana Beyond Aid, it's been scrapped. It was under the presidency of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
What was Ghana Beyond Aid doing tangibly? Tangibly, what was it doing?
I cannot tell you how they were able to transplant, the theory into real life, but they had similar underpinnings like this 24-hour economy. What they wanted to do, these are ideas to strengthen the systems already. And these are things, again, as I'm saying, are similar to the underpinnings. We want to strengthen security, we want to strengthen agriculture. These are ideas that each government has a way in which they want to do it. But that's the whole purpose of it. Ultimately, we have the same agenda. We want to create more jobs. How we do it, same spirit.
Yes.
But that spirit will then, I think, leave by way of the slogan, the program, the policy, just because there's been a change.
I honestly don't know what structures were put in place for Ghana Beyond Aid.
I don't know the structures, but
exactly. But with this one, we are seeing structures.
But because that government is gone, even if there were structures that could have been situated at the specific institutions, now we don't know, because the government has left and we've decided not to continue.
But maybe they have not seen any structure to continue with.
I think Professor Bokpin made some very key points. I'll maybe take a look at this story and do better justice at relaying that. But he wasn't the only one to advance that argument that another authority, really? I mean, do we really need it? I can agree with that kind of supervision, having oversight. Politically, it's important because you also have institutions that have, members that have been there, they are wary and all of that. You need that energy, that new spirit for something like this. But my worry is that we have similar ideas as governments, coming and going, but some of the longevity is lost.
If you mentioned another project, I may be able to reason. But Ghana Beyond Aid, I really didn't see what Ghana Beyond Aid was.
They put together a full policy. It was a full policy.
That was when the president went out to make some statement. Was it the UN, the US?
It wasn't just that,
He made some statement, you see. And on the back of that, and that had been in place for over a year and a half before the government expired.
So how is it that Walken has been able to pick up that policy document to juxtapose that against what we have?
Helen, do you have any idea how many policy documents we have sitting somewhere in the ministries and the presidency? I'm saying that it is one thing having the policy document. It's another thing having the structures on the ground to implement that policy document.
We will agree to disagree. I don't think this should sit with the presidency. You do.
I think it should sit. I don't think it should be an authority away from the presidency. I think it should be under the office of the president directly for that direct supervision or eye of the president to be on it. I think so.
Okay.
I can give you another example. The AIDS Commission. AIDS Commission is under the office of the president.
Okay.
AIDS Commission is still under the office of the president.
Right.
Why is it still under the office of the president? You see, the fact that the thing is under the office of the president does not mean that there are no structures or it is going to be one of those things. No.
The potential exists,
I give you another one. The Zongo Fund. It started off as a whole secretariat or authority on its own. Eventually had to be moved under the office of the president. Why was it so? So, you see, there are advantages. There are reasons why we must have certain projects and offices under the office of the president.
I think there are legitimate disadvantages. Hopefully, as the week progresses, we can also maybe explore the for and against in more details, get some more experts who can also advance that cause. I think Sixtus has made some good points that I resonate with, but I also think during the weekend there were some points that the danger of some of the things that we do, we pick and leave. Is there a way? I think more so the conversation was in continuity, strengthening of policy ideas that can transcend whoever it is at the helm of affairs. I think that was the underpinnings of what they had to say.
This secretariat kicks it started the program, the entire program. Then under it, they've successfully divided the program into various modules, if you like.
Right.
That's my word.
Right.
They have something in the arts, they have something in finance, they have something in
something like
all the sectors.
Pillars, something like that.
Yes, all the sectors. So they successfully are able to implement this policy within the banking sector. And you get some banks running 24/7 within some locations, and you have the incentives and the structures in place in terms of security, in terms of all the things that they need to be able to do to run 24/7. And you get this started off well and it's running. Can the ministry then not absorb it?
I don't mind that.
Number two, if you have schools that are running 24/7 and the structures are in place, the teachers are in place, the systems are in place to be able to afford continuous learning, teaching and learning and assessment and all the attendance implications and all of that, then by the expiration of this government, can it not be mainstreamed into the GS or Ministry of Education programs and policies? It can.
Yes.
Because it's a project, you need to be able to run it and implement it as a project so that it would have specific direct supervision to ensure that it is started off well. It's a project.
We can agree to disagree. 33 after 7, we open up the phone line so that you two can have your bite. I see the phone lines are already blinking. And then we can make way for sports. 0559 242 717 or 0556 910 154. I've got a caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, madam.
Yes, who's speaking? Where are you calling us from?
My name is Yima, calling from Amomole.
Amomole. How is Amomole this morning?
Yes, the atmosphere is cool this morning.
Fantastic. Let's hear you.
Thank you very much. Please help me with your name.
My name is Helen Appiah-Ampofo.
Madam Helen.
Yes.
Helen, thank you. Yeah, I want to ask Justin Kodua, when he said he made that press conference about the EC, I want to ask him, he said this current electoral commission, they shouldn't be afraid of losing their job because they want to lose their job? That is why they are bowing under political pressure. I want to ask him, during their time, when SAR was left out for 4 good years, Madam Helen, when we're supposed to have electoral area registration, Jermaine sound bent on it, saying that she will never, unless the district offices, when pregnant women were carried to cross water bodies, and all of that. Justin Kodua, wasn't he in this country? Didn't he see all those things? So I want to ask him, by that time, were this electoral commission, James Appiah, Bosman and others, were they under political pressure? So why is it, why has the narrative changed this time around? You see, these people, it's not for the sake of democracy. They should have been stripped naked, Madam Helen, and shoot them.
No.
Because
there will be no stripping naked, and there will be no lashing. 0559242-717, or you can reach us on 0556910154. And if we can check the other line in the back end, that would be helpful. Only one phone line blinking so far. All right. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Sister Helen.
Good morning. Who's speaking? Where are you calling us from?
This is Elliot calling from the base.
How's Bebe said this morning?
Oh, everything is all right.
All right. Let's hear you.
Minia, my bomba basu, Yajumapa, Moyebo, Mandagana.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, 24-hour economy. You mean, say, President Mahama, obey, because Capetamino, and the scholars and testers, you see a bar, a best creative Jumama, Mama for. And say, Papa President, and lunch, pepe. So, they say, my Papa President Mahama, my name could police and soldiers or come. The same thing, electricity problem, and so my, or so we are, or in Kodama for factory baby Juma, what my said. Over money for being a Juma, yes. And I do, yes, because police, the police were attack you. So Ghana for and then President 7 months in office. The one of us to Mapa or Yebua Ghana because also the Biashisa first on Nankoma for almost for because what the time of history only say President Mahama is a game changer. So young guy say young for and for us President Mahama to Mapa or Yema Ghana. You catch a mouth for say what President Mahama Ejuma Obayeno Ghana for.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your call. Have a wonderful day. And he says that he supports the 24-hour economy and we need to throw our weight behind it. Papa Bisu, good morning. How are you doing?
Well, doing fine because we beat Hearts of Oak yesterday by 2-1.
Who beat Hearts of Oak? Kotoko.
Atlantic, the great team. Atlantic Kotoko.
Hey! Wow, congratulations.
Yeah. But I beg you, Johnny shouldn't get angry with me. That's the team I support from PT.
What? I'm confused though. What's the connection?
With Atlantic Kotoko?
Yes.
I actually, Helen, if I have to just put my mind on it, just by that radio, small boy. At that time, small boy, I see Kotoko. When they come to that, those days, they'll tell you, we are scoring you 3-0, and it will happen. 2-0, and it will happen. You see, we had this goal poacher, they call him, what's his name, Abu Karim Gariba.
I see.
So the nickname is Go Nam Sheshe. That's why him there is always at the center of this thing. Go Nam, he will not dribble. But when it comes to scoring, they will score.
Wow.
So, Charlie, that's the love that developed for the club.
Congrats
and
to
I
you
tell
guys.
you, from my disco, I normally sneak out to go and watch their matches in Kumasi.
Hey,
I'm telling you.
the love is strong. The love is strong
Very,
indeed.
very strong, very deep.
Enjoy the win.
Yeah. Now let me touch on today's topic.
Yes.
There are a lot to talk about, Helen. First one, I'm told we have discovered oil in commercial quantity. Is that not it?
That's what I'm also hearing.
We have store in Ghana here, and then this Chinese people have brought in Central, what do you call it, oil refinery. Is that not
That's
it?
right, Central.
So having that particular oil new discovery, I'm pleading with this lovely government that those oil that they've been taken to refined outside the country, they should direct it straight to store. If they said the what they call the chemical composition cannot do whatever it is, they cannot refine it, I think Central is there to refine it. We need to have our oil in Ghana here to be refined by our own self. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Indeed.
To save us from this city's instability of the city. Right now, the city is stable. So please, we want it that way. I'm
That's right.
pleading with the government. And again, the National Cathedral, so-called National, I'm told, I'm hearing about what they call it, cultural, whatever it is.
Yes. What do you think about that?
I believe that in this country, we have problems in getting cash for the government of the day. I get to my point. We have certain government offices that are in a rented private homes. I get to my point. I want those offices to be put into place within this circle. The National Cathedral, so-called, whatever it is. Then apartments. Most people working for government offices and things like that, they live outside. Some are living in Amasama, some are living in the evening home and things like that.
That's right.
It is high time they should put up high-rise buildings that can accommodate, government workers. I get what I'm trying to say. Helen, are you with me?
I'm with you. I think there are so many other conversations we can have. So
many, like the hospitals too,
yes.
Children's hospital. So many things.
Yeah.
And that place is huge. That area is so huge that can accommodate so many things. Then I'm pleading with GOIL. That is the state-owned organization.
That's right.
If Star Oil, they are selling their, petrol per 10 cedis per liter or 10 cedi plus per liter, and then allied oil too. I'm pleading with GOIL because that state owns something, so that the state can also get money. Because when oil prices are down like that, and GOIL's own is that high, the driver of the motorists will not be branching to purchase petrol from GOIL or diesel from GOIL. They'll be shifting to Star Oil and things like that. I love Star Oil. I know why I love Star Oil. I may not tell you, but I love Star Oil. So I want...
You want it to be more competitive.
Yeah, that is it.
Papa.
So that's... And then again, the last one.
Yes.
I'm sorry, the person coming behind me.
Yes,
The last one. Customs Division. The big man there, General Ashon. Please and please, your sector commanders, they were there during MVP time, and they are still there. Reshuffle them, take them off, because the things that are happening there, we cannot, our own people, our own NDC guys, they are suffering. I beg of you.
Papa, thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Helen.
Have a wonderful Monday. Let me get on to my next caller, and thank you for your patience. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. Who's speaking, please?
I'm what to say.
Bibi Aboko, now where?
And I'm going to family. I can't know my penny about me.
Then I also.
Yeah, sure, Helen. So we need him and be me. Give me a show.
Sir. All right. And what's on your mind this morning?
I'm madam from Mr. Johnny. No, what to say?
Bibi Aboko.
Yeah, I'm watching now. I'm way who can know about Mr. Nokras and Catafrica Swap. Maybe a command in the two contain an open.
That's it. Let's hear you.
Yeah, Mammy for Aquanias, Mr. Ivan Samo. And Yamami Aja or Jerry and a Josh Shamai. Obapa. Made me a bon a year a Brickmanoff electoral commission issue no swap.
Into
you be sat
yɛnuanom NPP fo sɛ ɛnɛ deɛ ɔmuni trust ɛwɔ ɛnɛ EC maame no mu ana ɛnyɛ wɔn na ɛnɛ yɛkɔ ɔmo kɔ high park koraa na yɛ general secretary ɛnɛ wɔ yɛ chairman ɛsrɛ koraa mpa na yɛtwe na bɔɔso no a na saa tam ɔmo ne electoral commission ɛkɔ nnakra na no ɛnɛ deɛ ɔmo yɛ ni ni ɛnyɛ ɔmo na ɔmo fie sɛ ɔmo wi ni all the South police stations say you are going to aba for free. Omo wini na ye den na si ye sa fa akoto a. Mu yiso say why you mo so go do say ampa. Mu wini a ade ti na mu so na mo pese mo twum ho film. NPP for oya to say the ejanan ka. Udi n'ani mu a e poi. Udi n'echi a e poi. Ghana for NPP for a chick crocodile because omo nya no mo nya mambo boye for a omo po man Ghana yi.
Thank you for that. Thank you for your call. And he's talking about Ablekuma North. He says, why is the NPP scared of a rerun? That's something that's also high up on the agenda, something we can explore as the date gets closer. I'll take my final call and make way for Bill Eshan. He's got all that you and I need to know in the world of sports. But let me take my final caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, my sister.
Pastor Dewale, how are you doing?
Oh, here we come. I am fine. I'm doing quite good. May the peace of the Lord reign on us all.
Absolutely. Amen.
Where's Brother Johnny?
He's not too far. He's okay.
Anyway, takes a break off. My sister, quick one. The appointing body and the presidency, I'm still reminding them of Haji Alima, former deputy women organizer of Medina constituency, who is a regular caller, a.k.a. Akumapa, the freedom fighter. She has declared openly she also deserves to be given a position, and truly she deserves it. So they should remember her. You see, my sister, when you were talking about the ghost coming back from Mecca,
yes,
and a sharp pain struck through my spine. Do you know why?
Hey, why?
The late Coach Sami, the sister who followed her direct a death certificate was also brought home. What? And as at last 2 weeks, they went to Yendi from the main hometown of Coach Sami. They also have a final funeral. Let's see whether she will also come or not. But may the departed souls all have a perfect rest.
Absolutely.
My sister, today, like I was going to zoom into the ECOWAS issue, which Brother Sixtus, your other colleagues discussed most, but I will leave it for another day. Let me take you to Brown region and partially Central region.
Right.
Brown region have 14 ambulances. 5 have been broken down. And major district and hospitals of Brekum, Domahin Krum. And in fact, the question is, you remember last year, I started making a comment on Gomwa East in the Central region. A broken down vehicle, this ambulance, just the engine, you only needed 10,000 Ghana cedis. I made noise, and in fact, I even have to go to the former sector minister, Honorable Medisawa Kumse. And she told me she will work on it. Though she was no more in that sector. Then I asked her, how come? Few years. Then she told me blankly, and I'm quoting her, everybody can call and ask. I met her one-on-one. She told me all ambulances are 5 years, especially those that were brought under her administration. 5 years lifespan. So if you calculate 2019, they're about up to now. They are even over their age.
Right.
So 5 now has been broken in Brown region. You can cross-check. Then let me bring you to Central region.
Right.
Kaswa, to be precise, up to Breku. Ewutu Senya East and Ewutu Senya West. What happened is that during the morning, commercial vehicles clearing these two places, Breku to Kaswa, they charge between 7 cities and 6 cities. In the evening, you know what happened?
What happens?
Between 10 and 15 from Kaswa, and they will tell the communities that if you cannot pay, walk, which is impossible. And you know where they load from? They load from Kaswa police station under the overhead. And they also stop at Ewutu Breku police station at the bus stop. So I'm pleading with Central Command East Ghana Police, with GPR2 leadership, that they should check this. Because in fact, commuters are not having it easy. Why would I pay 6 cities in the morning? In the evening, I'm told to pay between 10 and 15 if not, I should walk. I cannot walk, which is a rush hour.
Pastor Dewale, thank you for that.
And people are even taking advantage of what? Who press and corrupt.
Oh dear.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Pastor Dewale, always letting us know what's happening in your community. And beyond 13 minutes to the top of the Abileshon is in the house. The sports is coming up next. But I do have to ask him, is today your wedding day?
No.
Okay.
I just got up and I decided to, do it.
When did you get your hair cut?
2 days ago.
Check. You've got this lovely chain on. Is that a staple for you, or you wore that today? It's a staple.
It's
nice
a staple.
gold chain. And you are, this is what we call a 3-piece.
Yes.
You wore a 3-piece on a Monday. All right, that's a bold statement to your other colleagues that on Monday, we start the week off fresh, hot, ready.
We didn't come to play.
The sports is up next.
Mark your calendars. Is the 3FM Baby Fair happening live on the 11th to the 13th of July.